The world's biggest iceberg appears to have run aground roughly 70 kilometers from a remote Antarctic island. The colossal iceberg A23A, which measures roughly 3,300 square kilometers and weighs nearly 1 trillion ton, has been drifting north from Antarctica towards South Georgia Island since 2020. This had raised fears it could collide with the island or run aground in shallower water near it, potentially disrupting the ability of penguins and seals to feed their young. It remains unclear whether the iceberg is stuck for good. It will be interesting to see what will happen now, said Andrew Myers, an oceanographer with the British Antarctic Survey, BA. The gigantic wall of ice has been stuck 73 kilometers from the island since the 1st of March, according to a statement from the BAS. If the iceberg stays grounded, we don't expect it to significantly affect the local wildlife, Myers said. In the last few decades, the many icebergs that end up taking this route through the Southern Ocean soon break up, disperse and melt, added Myers. The world's biggest and oldest iceberg calved from the Antarctic shelf in 1986. It remained stuck for more than 30 years before finally breaking free in 2020. Satellite imagery had previously suggested it was not crumbling into smaller chunks along the familiar path that such icebergs take. However, a 19 kilometers long chunk broke off in January. There had been concerns for wildlife on the crucial breeding ground of South Georgia if the iceberg came too close. This could reduce the amount of food coming back to pups and chicks on the island, and so increase mortality, Myers said. However, in its current location, the iceberg could offer benefits to wildlife. Nutrients stirred up by the grounding and from its melt may boost food availability for the whole regional ecosystem, including for charismatic penguins and seals, Myers said. Along with the nearby South Sandwich Islands, South Georgia is home to around 5-meter seals and 65 meters breeding birds from 30 different species. The island's seals and penguins have already had a bad season due to a bird flu outbreak, Myers told AFP in January. The iceberg poses no threat to shipping. It is so huge that vessels can easily avoid it. However, as it breaks up into smaller pieces, certain areas could become off-limits to commercial fishing ships due to the number of smaller, yet often more dangerous, bergy bits. There is no permanent human population on South Georgia, which the UK administers as a British overseas territory. Argentina also claims the island, along with the Falklands to the west, which it calls Las Malvinas. Icebergs of this size are rare but not unheard of. There have been 2 of similar sizes in the same area over the last 5 years, Myers said. Such huge icebergs are a completely normal part of the life cycle of the Antarctic ice sheets, Myers said. But ice shelves have lost 6,000 billion tons of mass since 2000, which is matched by accelerating ice loss attributed to climate change, he added. Researchers warned last month that a rise in the planet's average temperature to between 1.5 and 2.0 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels could melt enough frozen water to lift oceans by a dozen meters and beyond the point of no return. Last year, which smashed previous heat records as the world was battered by fires, floods and storms, was the first calendar year above 1.5 C.